Hello and welcome to the Satluj TV podcast. On yesterday's Perspectives show, I talked at length about how the Sikh community, both domestically in Punjab and across the global diaspora, is increasingly under attack from the Indian government. These attacks are taking many forms, the more obvious in the form of physical violence and intimidation. But there are also more subtle attacks in the form of undermining the social, the economic and even the cultural fabric of the Sikh community. Well, today I want to focus on how this is happening in Punjab particularly. And to give an insight into this, I'm joined today by our regular guest, Dr. Bakshish Singh Sandhu, MD. Dr. Sandhu, welcome. Thank you for joining us once again today.
Thank you, Mr. Scott, for having me on your program. And we want to wish the whole world, specifically our audience, a very happy, healthy, and prosperous new year.
Indeed we do, Dr. Sandhu, and thank you for that. But in your opinion, Dr. Sandhu, let me ask you, is the Sikh community under attack from India? Are we just imagining this?
Okay, Mr. Scott, that's a good question. That is the community, the Sikh community and people of Punjab under control? Under subjugation? Absolutely they are. And I'll explain in this way. So let's say if every aspect of people in Punjab is controlled by a foreign power or a foreign occupier, then you can see that people have no rights, like their life, their economy, their land, their natural resources, education, law and order, everything is under Indian control. So even though there's elected Punjab government, but that has no power to improve or make the life better for people of Punjab. So everything is under India's control.
Okay, well let's pick this apart piece by piece, and let's look at each area separately. Then, and let's examine how the evidence stacks up to support this premise. The most important, in many ways, is of course the economy of the Punjab. The Punjab is described as the breadbasket of India. It is a very agricultural, diverse and successful region. But economically, there have been claims that Punjab is suffering. Would you like to elaborate on the economics of Punjab and how the Indian government is making life difficult for entrepreneurs and businesses in Punjab?
Okay, so Mrs. Scott, for every community, every country, every nation, economy is the number one issue. If people have no food, if people don't have education, people don't have any economic power, they have no earnings enough to lead their life, that creates instability. So Punjab's economy is totally under control of a foreign power. For example, let's see the Punjab's natural resources. Water. Water is under Indian control. Other states in India have their own control over their waterways and hydroelectric plants. But in Punjab, it's not the same. Punjab, India controls hydroelectric power, flow of river waters, and control of flow. So like if there's a drought, that means the water is not being released. If there's a flooding, means the water is released too quickly, too fast, which causes flooding and loss of life. So other way, the economy of Punjab is under Indian control because India has tried to take control of Punjab's land, like the 3 farm laws, which were promulgated in 2020. That's a backdoor way to grab people's land. So if people don't own their land, they cannot prosper. Even if the land, let's say they own, but they have lease, that means they have to follow the laws written in the lease. And who makes the lease? People, landowner cannot make the lease. They cannot fight the lease. They have no economic power. So economically, you can see there's no development in Punjab. No new jobs are created. So every aspect of economy, land grab, water control, electricity control, produce minimum price of their grain, everything is under control of Indian government. So that's why there's no prosperity and there's no any prospect of life getting better economically in Punjab. And that's why people of Punjab should choose to have their own destiny under their control.
And actually, that reminds me of a very important aspect that you brought up there, which is, of course, control of the water, that most valuable of natural resources in the Punjab. And it does remind me of the situation, of course, where water seems to have been weaponized by the Indian government against both Pakistan and, of course, Punjab itself. Because, of course, in the dry season, Punjab lies essentially in the foothills of the Himalayas. It has the benefit of huge amounts of water that comes down during the wet season. But for some reason, every year during the dry season, agriculture is suffering. Agriculture has a lack of water for irrigation. And yet, conversely, in the wet season, we see mass floods almost every single year in the Punjab. And it turns out that the management committees of the dams, for example, now don't have autonomous decision-making control over the release of water or the retention of water in the dams upstream, but they have to refer to Delhi for permission to either release or hold water. They can't make those decisions themselves. So my question to you, Dr. Sandhu, do you believe that the Indian government is deliberately weaponizing water against the Punjab and the people of Punjab?
Okay, absolutely they are. And here's how. As you have mentioned, let's see the distribution of Punjab water. So if all the other states and the Indian Union, they control their water, but Punjab water is controlled by India. That's number one. Number two, the management board is also now infiltrated by powers from outside Punjab. Let's say management board has now included anybody from outside India can have control of water by joining the board. Third thing is, if the water is not being released and the water is being not released, one thing, but water of Punjab is being diverted to other areas like Rajasthan, Delhi, Haryana, Himachal. So the water of Punjab, which belongs to Punjab, is being given to other people. Third thing is, what's the compensation? If, let's say, water is being diverted, and international law is that the people who have the natural resource, they can sell it. So water is a natural resource, but the water is being taken away without any compensation. And the flooding. So whenever there's more rain, that's an excuse. The dams are not released. When water is falling and when the rain is falling, the water is accumulating, the board should know that the too much water will be overflowing and the dam can break out. But they let the water collect and then release all of a sudden and causes flooding. There have been very significantly devastating flooding in Punjab. You have seen like last year flooding and before 1988 flooding in which all of Punjab was flooded. But this is a problem which is not going to go away until Punjab becomes independent. So that's why the people of Punjab have to pay attention to who's controlling their life, who's controlling their economy, who is controlling their economic power. So they will know the answer when they ask themselves.
Okay, well, Dr. Sandhu, let's move on to another real key area in terms of social structure, and that is, of course, law and order. And there has been, and I've certainly noticed across social media, certainly the right-wing Hindutva Indian forces are always happy to spread these viral videos of, we often see of violence in the streets of Punjab streets, these terrible sort of acts of violence that just seem to randomly break out. Do you sense that there is a failing, deteriorating position of law and order in the Punjab? And if so, who do you think's behind it?
That's absolutely right. There is a very poor condition of law and order. The reason for that is because if you have a problem, you have to recognize what's the cause of the problem and then solve that way. But if you say, oh, it's a problem of law and order, but they don't pay attention where the problem is originating, then you cannot find a solution. For example, if people in Punjab, they have no right to speak, and if they speak, they're basically arrested under UAPA, they're detained, tortured. So it cannot go away because people of Punjab are not going to stop asking for their rights. But anytime they speak up and they are basically imprisoned or tortured and detained, that creates a law and order. And people are saying, look, if we are being subjugated and we are being slaved, and then we might as well fight for our rights. That's another thing. Second thing is the people who enforce law and order, they are corrupt because whenever somebody is arrested, let's say there's a problem, so there's an altercation or there's a fight, the victim gets arrested, but the perpetrator is let free. So the law and order after economy, law and order is very important. If people don't feel safe in their homes, people don't feel safe on the street, or they basically think that their woman may be basically dealt with in an unfair way. So people are afraid in Punjab. They cannot go out. They don't know that there could be a home invasion or somebody can basically take their things away, land grab. Sometimes people have their land and the land is being stolen and land is being occupied illegally. So all these things come under law and order. Until and unless there's law and order, Punjab cannot prosper. Because nobody comes there to set industry. Nobody wants to take on that developmental programs because people think that maybe they will come and ask for extortion. They will be basically coerced. There will be a pressure on people to give money or get the extortion money, and otherwise somebody may come threaten you. So all these things are under law and order. And until and unless the law and order is improved, and who is going to improve in law and order? That's Punjab government, which is defunct in the sense that's incapable of doing anything. And it comes to then the central government. The central government controls the law and order because the upper level Punjab police officers or in the administration are from out of Punjab, and they have no interest in the welfare of Punjabis. That's why the law and order is not going to go away until people of Punjab think that they need their country back. Punjab was an independent country until 1849. In 1849, the British took over. At that time, Punjab was a country, but India was not. India was then a conglomeration of small princely states. So after the British left in 1947, they gave Punjab to India. But it's important to note that during 98 years of their ruling, from 1849 to 1947, they didn't touch the territory of Punjab. What happens after 1947? Within a year, in 1948, they started basically taking parts of Punjab away. So the Punjab became weaker, Punjab became smaller, and that's how they are controlling Punjab, and the territory is given to other areas, and even the Punjabi-speaking areas were not given to Punjab. And Chandigarh, that was the capital of Punjab, should have been given to Punjab, was not given and was made a union territory. That's how Punjab is being controlled. And if these controls go on, the people of Punjab have no chance of prosperity because everything is under control by foreign agents and foreign powers.
I'd like to talk about the situation of Chandigarh in a moment, but I just want to come back to that in a moment. But I just, whilst we stay on the law and order aspect, one of the key drivers of crime and social problems is, of course, drugs. And you've been talking about outside influence that is affecting the Punjab. And there have been accusations that there is a deliberate policy, a fairly sort of insidious, secret policy almost, to deliberately infiltrate and pour in drugs into the Punjab, because the outcome of that, of course, is when you've got disaffected young, you've got young who are unemployed, who've got nothing else to do, they quite often revert to drugs. And of course, drugs undermine society very quickly. They dissolve the structure, the very fabric of society. They cause so many problems, and they are actually one of the key drivers of crime. What is your feeling about the drug situation in Punjab? Firstly, do you think it is a deliberate policy? And secondly, many individuals and the very many high-profile members of the Sikh community have stood up to try and counteract this, but they have found themselves arrested, tortured, beaten up. Do you think this is all part of some statewide conspiracy to deliberately destroy the Punjab?
Okay, Mr. Scott, the drug distribution in Punjab is controlled by, let's say, the administrative powers. Why? Because in Punjab, nothing can enter. If the police has control everywhere in Punjab, there's the police and paramilitary forces, and within border with Pakistan, up to 50 kilometers inside Punjab, there is more kind of control. There are more paramilitary forces. So they can stop the drug distribution which is coming from outside. 100%, India can control the drug coming into Punjab, whether it comes from Rajasthan, whether it comes from Delhi or from Pakistan, they can control it. But it's not being controlled because the drug distribution is basically taken over by people who are in power. There are people who are in politics, who are in administration, and they benefit from the drug distribution. The drug distribution is very destructive to any country, any nation, any community. So what happens? The drugs are used by younger people, younger generation. They cannot get educated. Their family is basically distraught because the family is spending money basically to try to get them off the drugs, but doesn't help. So I know you can say that the drugs are everywhere. Absolutely, that's true. But rather than stopping the drug abuse, rather than stopping the drug distribution or drug availability, is being made more available. And the people who are benefiting are the people who are in power. So then also, how will you stop it? If the government doesn't want to stop the drug distribution, how will people stop using drugs? So look what America is doing. Look what Mr. Trump is doing. He's saying, stop the drug coming into America. They have stopped Venezuela. They have basically bombed some boats which are bringing drugs into the United States of America. They're coming from Mexico. They have put pressure on Mexico. So I think President Trump doing the right job by stopping drugs coming into the country, United States of America. So why does India and Punjab not control drugs coming into Punjab? Because it's deliberate attempt to make Punjab weaker, to make Punjab basically have no people who are going to be running the economy, who are going to be part of the community. They're dying of drugs. That's how you're destroying the economy and country of Punjab, how they are.
So one area as well that is has been highlighted very regularly in the Punjab as opposed to the rest of India is the treatment of basic human rights and the justice system, the law enforcement judicial system. I mean, for example, we do know in the 1980s and 1990s we had this awful situation of law enforcement enacting extrajudicial killings right across the Punjab. That's very well known. But do you think even today that there is some form of two-tier justice going on in the Punjab, whereby the rest of India enjoys one level of justice, but the people of Punjab suffer under a different level of justice, that human rights are abused, that they are unfairly treated under law enforcement, that the law is effectively weaponized against them? I mean, we only need to look, for example, further north in Kashmir, certainly how human rights have been restricted amongst the Muslim population. Do you think the same thing is happening in Punjab? Do you think human rights are genuinely being restricted in Punjab as opposed to the rest of India?
That's absolutely true. And here are the examples. Let's say we're talking about human rights. If people are asking for their rights, they're political prisoners. They are sentenced for a certain number of years, let's say 5, 10, 15. But Punjab political prisoners who are asking for their rights have been in prisons for maybe 30, 40 or more years, while people who have committed similar, let's say, wrongdoings or similar crimes in other parts of India, they have been released. But the prisoners who are political prisoners, prisoners of conscience, they are not being released. The India is afraid that if they are released, they basically again will lift the demand for equal rights. Let's say India has promulgated black draconian laws of the British era. So what it means that if somebody asks there for rights, they're arrested, they're detained, they're tortured, and they're imprisoned for unknown period of time. And then their families are brought into the police station, and they are basically, their women are insulted, their women are basically mistreated, and I don't know what else they do over there. But many police stations have many objects in the equipment of torture. So they, if you go any in the police station in Punjab, many of them you will say they have equipment of torture, and at least they used to have during the armed struggle for liberation of Punjab from Indian occupation. They had electrical equipment to apply electrical current to people's genitals. So everything in Punjab, with respect to law and order, with respect to human rights, with respect to their demands of people, they're being suppressed because of repression.
Okay, one of the main foundations of any culture is its language. And we've often talked about the Punjabi language, of course, being inherently linked to the Sikh community and everything that Sikhi stands for. And it has been accused that there is, again, a deliberate policy on behalf of India to try and remove the Punjabi language as a language within the Punjab. Now, language has been weaponised, certainly since partition. And we do know, for example, in the mid-20th century, the Suba movement really campaigned very powerfully for the promotion of the Punjabi language, and indeed the autonomy of Punjab based around the language, the Punjabi language, and which did in fact lead, I believe, in 1966, I think it was, the breakup of Punjab into Haryana, Punjab, around cultural language lines. So there was a minor victory, although it turns out to be, let's call it a Pyrrhic victory in the 1960s, where in fact Punjab was actually carved into an even smaller location, geographical unit based on language. But do you think now, even now today in the 21st century, that same battle is continuing, that again the Indian government, the Indian leaders are still trying to remove the Punjabi language from the Punjab, and as part of this sort of Hindification of the Punjab? Do you think it's still being weaponized, this whole area of language?
Okay, Mr. Scott, that's a very good point. If they say, experts say, if you want to destroy a community or destroy a nation, destroy the language. So how India systematically proceeded to destroy Punjabi language? Let's start. When India's constitution was promulgated in 1950, they didn't give the equal status to Punjabi. They didn't recognize Punjabi. So if Punjabi is not recognized, then there was the accuse they used to make a Punjabi Suba. So they didn't give the Sikhs or people of Punjab their statehood, and they didn't give the Chandigarh because they denied Punjabi as a language. Second thing, if somebody wants to read the Sikh Holy Scripture, Guru Granth Sahib, and he doesn't know the language, because that's where the language Gurmukhi, which is written in, that's taking people away from their religion. That's destroying people's culture and people's religious thread. So if people cannot read their language, they cannot read their Guru Granth Sahib, the Sikh Holy Scripture, then where do they get the guidance from? And the other thing was that India also weaponized non-Sikh community in Punjab, and they pushed them into saying that their language is not Punjabi, their language is Hindi. Well, they speak Punjabi. You go in Punjab and people speak Punjabi, and when there was a census carried out, they declared their language as Hindi. And then those areas which are Punjabi speaking areas were not given to Punjab. So Punjab was further shrunk on the language. That's how powerful language as a weapon is in Punjab. Other thing, see, people in Punjab mostly live in villages and they speak the Punjabi language. And if they are basically forced to speak Hindi, they will never be happy. They will fight back. That's also creating basically disharmony, bad relationship between communities. The people who speak Punjabi, they declare their language as Hindi in the census. That means the money flow and the developmental flow and the language. This is a very powerful instrument to destroy a nation or destroy a state. And that's what's happening. Again, the message to Punjabi is, if you cannot speak Punjabi, if Chandigarh being taken over by Indian powers and everybody over there speaks Punjabi, and even in Delhi in the early 1960s, 60 or 70% in Delhi spoke Punjabi. What happened after that was people from other parts of India started coming to Delhi, and nobody protected Punjabi over there. And now most of the Punjabi people who speak Punjabi at home, they speak Hindi in the outside of their home. So this is how the language being attacked and language being destroyed, and people are deprived of their basic human rights. That the attack on their languages is harming the people of Punjab.
Which actually brings us back to, you mentioned Chandigarh, it does bring back to this whole issue of Chandigarh. Now, of course, we had recently those huge university protests in Chandigarh, where the students and alumni and even academics all united and were actually joined by many people from around India. In that protest, which was essentially all about the policy of central government to try and wrestle control of effectively a Punjabi asset back into central control. Now, this pushback that came also had another premise in its argument, and this premise was about the issue of Chandigarh. And they're saying, Chandigarh, we lost Chandigarh as a capital. It sits as this union sort of territory now. But one of the issues, one of the campaigns as part of the overall protest was, we want Chandigarh back as a capital. So as a final question to you, Dr. Sandhu, and as we look forward, and we look obviously to solutions, to the way forward from these multi-pronged attacks on the people of Punjab and the Sikh community, what, in your belief, is the way forward? How do you think Chandigarh forms as part of that solution? What do you think the Sikh community should be aiming for as a realistic goal?
I think the Sikh community is now aware of what's going on. And Sikh community is standing up for their rights, like taking back the Chandigarh issue. And similarly, people of Punjab are being now activists because they basically push back on the farm laws. So that's very important for people of Punjab. I think the people of Punjab have realized and they understand, if the language being destroyed, if the capital of Punjab, if the Chandigarh should have been given entirely to Punjab, was not given. Not only was not given, that it could have been taken at a later stage. They made a union territory. So once a union territory, 100% India is controlled. So I think my message to the people of Punjab is that you are all Punjabis. We are all Punjabis. But if we think that Punjab is not important, then that's detrimental to Punjab. People who are living in Punjab, their life is being affected. So the most important thing for people of Punjabi is liberate Punjab from Indian occupation. Then they control their water, then they control their language, then they control their economy, then they control their law and order. So until people of Punjab take control of these things, they will not prosper. They will also be subjugated. They will be enslaved people. So this is the message for Punjabi people. Wake up, Punjabis. You are being controlled and your rights are being taken away. Your economy, your education, your agriculture or industrial development is absent. But if you want Punjab, a great country, Punjab, a prosperous country, you need to control Punjab's waters, Punjab's economy, Punjab's natural sources, Punjab's language, Punjab's land, and then all Punjabis will prosper. So this is my message to Punjabi people. Let's liberate Punjab from Indian occupation. That's why you're holding a referendum.
A very clear message, very loud and clear there, Dr. Sandhu. But unfortunately there we must leave it. But we will be talking again with Dr. Sandhu soon to continue our discussion. Dr.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Scott.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us. And thank you for watching the Satluj TV podcast. We will see you next time.